Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game, the podcast where I, your host Connor McCabe, bring on a guest to hear from them about a meaningful or memorable video game from a particular moment in their life. This is a podcast about what makes video games special to different people. A little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the show proper is that any links that my guest or I today share, anything that we're plugging today, you're going to be able to find gorgeous links in the show notes wherever you're listening. So whether you're watching the YouTube version on that gorgeous website, YouTube, or you're listening on your favorite podcast catcher like Apple Podcasts, if you click on the episode and scroll down in the description notes, you'll find some links to, I don't know, perhaps an improv show that plays weekly at UCB, or a social media handle, or even a Patreon where you can find bonus video game podcasts from me and the makers of this show over at patreon.com/supernpcradio. You're probably aware that we're currently covering Hollow Knight Silksong for our current games club over there. So if you want a weekly breakdown of that game that is just taking the world by storm right now, check us out there if it works for you, or listen to our past series on the Super NPC Games Club free feed, where right now the game BioShock is airing over there. But that'll do it. You'll find all that stuff again in the link in the show notes. But I'll finally introduce my guest for today's episode, so please welcome improviser and San Francisco Giants ambassador, Laney Serface. Laney, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. This is a very exciting time to have you on the show, but also, to sort of tie into one of our connections that we have, a bummer of a time for the two of us because we are big baseball fans and neither of our teams made the playoffs, let alone are still standing as we find ourselves on the last sort of weekend of the division series leading into the NLCS. But I mean, that was one of our initial connections. You're a huge Giants fan, as I teed up earlier. How are you dealing with this? Like, are you this type of person that still follows the playoffs and is locked in, or does it upset you so much that you just abstain from participating?
It sort of depends. I am still following and watching games right now. I watched the Phillies-Dodgers last night.
Brutal
Did you watch
ending.
that game? I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And the city of Philadelphia is not going to be kind to that poor pitcher.
No, I can't. Yeah, probably one of the worst cities to play for a team if something devastating like that happens.
So I am paying attention right now. It depends. Like the season 2021, where it was like we won 107 games, and then the season ended in the playoffs on the check swing call. That is like, I can't watch anymore. I am I have to try to disengage or I will not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
As a Giants fan, the Giants are often bad. And even when they win the World Series, it's like everyone's kind of thought they were bad and no one thought they were going to win the World Series. So I am used to the general atmosphere being the Giants are bad. That's okay with me. I'm like, we play comeback ball, baby. That's what we love.
Sure.
And, this year, I had like a month or more to be like, this is not going good.
Yeah,
so
sort of come
I can
to terms
kind of
with
taper
that.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm paying attention, but it's like, because I hate do you hate the Dodgers?
I grew up hating them. Now I'm like pretty neutral because I'll end this tangent really quick before I let you get back to whatever point you were making. I've really softened on them living out here for 12 years and having so many friends who love them. But now that they won last year and have won twice in the last 5 years, I want to see them lose actively.
Yeah. Well, I wish I was thinking about this last night just because of that game. I mean, it was an awesome game until it ended that way. I hate them. I mean, you have to, as a Giants fan, you have to hate them. Also, rivalry is huge in sports. That's part of what we do. So
Yes.
Do I want to be a more chill person, or do I want to lean into no, we're supposed to have big city rivalries and we hate each other? Because I would like to be more chill about it. My best friend is a Dodgers fan and I want to be happy for her, but I hate them. So
Yes.
it's like you're saying, they just keep succeeding. They have the most money. My whole thing is if you moved here and became a Dodgers fan, congrats. You moved here and decided to root for the team with the most money.
Yes.
That wins the most. So
Yeah.
good for you. I hope that's fun for you. I'm such a little stinker about it.
Yes. I understand, because part of me, honestly, part of me that I've just tried to shed, which has taken some of the passion out of sports fandom for me, which I both like and dislike, has been this part of me that was very, also, I don't know if territorial is not the word, but very much a stickler about that same exact thing. Like, of course, I'm like happy for my friends who also, became Dodgers fans because they moved to LA, because, good for them. Shohei Ohtani plays for their team. Mookie Betts plays for their team, and they're so excited. But when they're just really playing with like a different set of opportunities than every other team, it kind of makes me, I don't want to yuck their yum, but I kind of want to yuck their yum.
Yes. Also, because this is what I was thinking about last night, is like, I think I would like to become more chill. Like, I don't like that you could set me off and I'll scream about this for forever. Mm-hmm. Like last year when the Dodgers won the World Series, I don't like that I had to get into all these arguments with people where it was like, you're not even from here. Yeah. But I do think in the depths of my being, because I'm a Giants fan growing up like right outside the Bay Area, I'm like, sports is also about territory, and like my deep connection to rooting for the Giants is part of this like primal thing we have about like, for some reason we feel this loyalty to where we're from.
Yes.
So I do think, as chill as I wish I was, I do think you can't understand true sports fandom if you are not rooting for the team from where you come from. Like, that's a different layer that you are not, that's like not in your puzzle at all. That is like, these are my people that I grew up with that are accomplishing something against whatever odds.
Yeah, I think about it. I happen to be, because I'm from the Central Valley, an enormous Sacramento Kings fan, which has mostly just been a complete curse. But if it ever gets better, which I'm not convinced it will be that much more sweet, because I've stuck with the team that I've been following since I was a kid. And yeah, there's just a lot more. I mean, the depth of the satisfaction there is so much more rich than if you, I guess, decided to like the most rich team in baseball and then they won, against all odds.
Yeah, it makes me upset in this moment thinking about it.
Yes.
But I also love baseball so much that I can find a place in my heart that is like, I am happy for my friends to get into baseball. Like, my best friend wasn't into baseball at all before the last few years when she started to become obsessed with the Dodgers. And I'm like, thank God my best friend is getting obsessed with baseball, because I'm obsessed with baseball. So I also am like, whatever inroads gets you there, I'm happy for. Baseball's on an uptick. I don't know if you saw, we had like the third year in a row of like people watching games growing. Yeah. So I am like, I think ultimately I would like you to like baseball. And if you have to like the Yankees or the Dodgers in order to do that, whatever. But
at some point
you're missing something.
Yes. And at some point, well, once you've you got your big kid pants on, we can have a prickly conversations about these teams and all that. Gosh, I could truly talk about this forever, and
Me
I'm sure
too, and it's not a baseball podcast.
No, but I will say I make it about baseball a lot, and I used to do a series every few years called "Call Me by Your Ball Game," where once a month I did an episode, a special episode on a different baseball video game. So the listeners are no stranger to this sort of discussion.
Okay, thank God.
The last thing I'll say is that I would really like the Mariners to win, because they've never won. And even though I'm a Cardinals fan, I do have a soft spot for Milwaukee because they've also never won. So I don't know what. I just want the Dodgers to lose at this point.
Whatever
and I even
the Brewers
like the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out the Yankees.
Yeah.
Check out Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I know.
I do think whatever the Brewers have going on right now is kind of cool. And so, coming from my 2021 Giants era, I'm like, I would love for them to not have ended the season as the number one team in baseball and then have it end in disappointment. But so that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't want the Dodgers to win.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see, as the Dodgers move on and we have a couple Game 5s coming up this weekend. There'll be a lot to look out for. That's not our only connection, though. We know each other, how I know the majority of the guests on this podcast, through the Los Angeles improv community. I met you, at this point, you were on Lloyd, was it spring 23 or 4?
4.
Okay, so I would have met you right around that time when your team was performing, and then got to know you a little better through your fantastic show at UCB, Play by Play. But also, it turned out that you happened to see, we had a bunch of mutual friends from the same school, and that's because at different times, we went to the same university as well.
Yeah. I only went for 1 year, but...
That's right.
Is it that you graduated the year before I got there?
I think so. I graduated in 2013.
Okay, yeah. Because I got there, excuse me. I got there the fall of 2013.
Wow.
I think. So our mutual connections, shout out Caleb and Brian.
Yes.
Like those people, Zach.
Yes.
They were a year younger than you because they were seniors when I was a freshman.
Yep, it all checks out.
So funny.
Oh, gosh, I love those guys. We ended up, even though we were different classes, we ended up working a lot together, both on just like the same projects, but we made a web series together my senior year. We worked on each other's stuff. I've worked with Brian out in LA as well a few times, and I hope to keep working with him because he's just amazing. But yeah, we had that connection too. But I've talked about our connection for a while, and mostly just baseball. But what do you want to share about yourself with the listener, and who are you?
Who am I?
Deep question.
Baseball is a big part of it. I'm an improviser and actor, writer, some would say, depending on how you legitimize yourself with that label. I don't know. I do a lot of improv, and I really like to do comedy stuff. That's what I'm up to and care about the most.
I love it. Before we move on to some other, more video game related stuff too, is there anything that you want to plug or anything I can put in the show notes that people should find you at?
Sure. Well, I'm on Instagram just as my name at Laney Serface.
Great.
I have a weekly, as you hinted, a weekly show at UCB called Play by Play that is so fun. It's like a crowd pleaser for everyone, where Will Hines and like a rotating guest commentator do like live on stage commentary for the improv that's happening. It's very funny. I even feel like it's like funny for people who think improv's embarrassing or like think it's too cringy to go to, because it's like, great, that's what the people on stage are sort of saying also. So I'd have that. And then also I'm on 1 million improv teams, and I'm always sharing those flyers and stuff. And I teach at Weegis, the world's greatest improv school. I teach and perform there also. So I want to plug that, look that up, and take some classes.
Hell yeah, I love it. It's so many moons ago now that Will was on this very show plugging Weegis for the first time, and here we are continuing
in the Zoom era.
In the Zoom era, yes.
You can still take Weegis on Zoom, but that's how it started, was that you could only do improv on Zoom. Yes,
when you said in the Zoom era, I was thinking, this podcast was recording on Zoom. It was still the Zoom era. You're talking about Weegis classes in the Zoom era.
Yes, yeah. Because that's how it started, is that,
yes,
like, as the pandemic we were starting to come up for air, he was like, I could teach some classes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, I'll put a link to, your social media handle, Play by Play, and then if I can find a great Weegis link too, I'll put that in there as well.
Great.
Thank you for sharing about yourself and doing some plugs, but we're about to talk about your general history with video games. But before we do, will you please tease what we have coming up for the main event later and call me by your game?
Yeah, for the main event, I have brought in Earthbound Beginnings.
I can't wait. I never would have expected anybody would ever bring this game onto the show. And here we are, even before no one's even discussed Earthbound for the main event. So this is just...
Really?
Yes, so this is awesome. We did a I'm on a bit of a tangent again. I do a monthly version of this show, like a bonus on our Patreon called the Co-op series, where me and a group of friends talk about one game. We did an episode on Mother 3 about 2.5 years ago, but never, that's the only one we've discussed on this program. So I'm excited to get into it later. When it comes to your general history with video games, what are some of your earliest memories, whether it be watching someone play a video game or playing yourself?
Playing myself, really. We had a Nintendo 64.
Rock on.
And would play my main game. I'm a big Nintendo girl. Like I've never. We had an Xbox for a second growing up, but I just have almost never played anything else on any other console. So my main things were like Super Smash Brothers and Zelda games.
Yes.
Ocarina of Time. Is that 64 or GameCube?
It's 64.
That's like my main Zelda game. So growing up was like mainly me playing Smash Brothers with my brothers.
Yes.
Like fighting for my life against my older brothers in Super Smash Brothers on the 64 and the GameCube. We had a GameCube later.
Yeah, when it was even a bigger deal on the GameCube, even though the N64 sort of started it all.
Yeah.
That's great. This is a great starting point. So was the N64 something that they had gotten or you all had gotten together as a family? Or is it something that was just there by the time you gained consciousness?
I can't remember. It had to have just been there. I mean, stuff really did. I think there was an uptick with the GameCube in our general playing, but I don't remember. There wasn't like, there's not a memory where it was like, please, I need one for Christmas. And then we got one or something. There just was a Nintendo 64.
Okay, gotcha. You were talking about playing Smash Brothers with your brothers. With Ocarina of Time, was that something that was that more of a solo experience for you?
Yes, my oldest brother likes the Zelda games and played them a lot growing up. So he would play Ocarina of Time, and then I would see him play it, and then I would play it by myself when, solo.
Yes.
Gaming.
Do you remember what about the game sort of intrigued you to have your own journey?
Well, I loved playing the Ocarina songs.
Oh, really?
It was so cool because you had to play them correctly with the yellow C buttons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You had to play the notes correctly, and I liked traveling around collecting those. And I have a really bad memory is one thing about me. So
perfect for the show.
Especially with all the Zelda games, it all sometimes can mush together, and I remember the wrong thing for the wrong game. But this is the one where the bones are coming up out of the ground.
Yes.
And chasing you.
Yes.
I don't know. I like a game that has a story that feels like it gets to a satisfying ending. And I remember the water temple being impossible. The water temple's impossible to beat.
Dude, you're hitting all of the classic staples about this game. I had a similar-ish experience to how I got into it as well, where I had one younger sister growing up, still have a younger sister, and I didn't have any brothers, but my best friend who's my age, who's an enormous Giants fan, his older brothers were like my older brothers. And I remember seeing, I believe his brother Alex playing Ocarina on their big TV at their house, and was just what is this? I have to have it. Never had played anything even close remotely like it with a narrative, and there were so many things that fascinated me. I wish I could see my first reaction to running in the field, and then when it turns to night having the skeletons come up.
Oh my gosh, yes. And when you could, talking about us making stuff come up, you could catch the chickens and jump off of a roof holding a chicken and glide. The chicken would flap its wings and you would glide down.
Yes.
There's just really fun little things you can discover.
Yeah, there are so many discoveries, even about the chickens too. If you hit them enough, then they all chase after you.
Yes,
do you remember
they
this?
like attack you. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, just an amazing game. I promise not to take every game you bring up on a tangent, but I revisited it this year just for fun while I was between stuff, and man, it's just still so magical. Even though it kind of looks like shit today.
Sure, but that's fun.
No, it's like part of the nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
So that was a big one for you there. You had mentioned getting a GameCube and playing Smash Brothers on that. Between the two Smash Brothers games, do you remember ever having a favorite character or a go-to?
Yeah, look, it's sort of embarrassing for everybody involved because I just played Kirby. And look, I would like to be an advocate against the stigma for Kirby. Because the thing is, sure, maybe Kirby's easier to play and beat everybody, but why don't you just be Kirby too? Everybody can be Kirby. So if you're mad that I can fly up in the air and drop down as a weight on your head while you're trying to defend yourself against someone else, then you should have also been Kirby. So the thing is that I always played as Kirby. I'm snapping.
Just in case Zoom cancels this out, I'm snapping right now.
I never learned any other characters, like special attacks or anything. I would sometimes try to play as another character, but I was just button mashing. But Kirby, I was like, I know what to do and when to do it.
Yes.
And my brothers would make fun of me, but that was like the only way I could survive. Playing with them.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you came on here to sort of help reduce the stigma. But yeah, Kirby is an absolute classic. And I kind of felt that way. I used to have a similar, I don't know, what is that? Insecurity almost. I might describe it as an insecurity about like using Pikachu when I first played. But use who you want, play with who you want, and get over it if you're getting beat.
Yeah, so freaking what? What, you think you're cool because you're playing as a character that less people play as? And it has weirder power-ups that take longer to get ready to charge or whatever? Okay. My brother always played as Samus, and I would go insane getting hit by his huge electricity balls or whatever. I don't know any vocabulary. What is that Samus is up to?
It's like she has like an arm cannon that she shoots like a, I don't even know what it is. It's like a beam.
Right? It's like, but it's like
it is like an energy ball or something,
and it makes you like.
I think the way you described it was perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I'm like, why is that? How's it fair that that's not a crutch? That you're constantly shooting me with your huge electricity balls? You know.
That's a great point. Every character kind of has their. I mean, there's many ways to play as every character, but every character has their go-to. Like Captain Falcon has his big punch, which people could spam. Oh, and gosh. The era of games you're talking about too. A, they're my favorite, but B, they are feel so quotable to me. Like all of these games, especially the ones with voice acting, just have little phrases that me and my friends would just say at each other forever.
Like what other ones?
I'm thinking of, like Ness from Super Smash Brothers. He has a taunt.
Earthbound?
Oh my gosh, it's so relevant today. One of his taunts, I think maybe his only taunt, he just kind of puts his hands on his hips and he goes, okay. And
yeah, that's right.
We used to say that to each other all the time.
I forgot about that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Also just the noises, like I'm sure I played a lot of Nintendo, but I'm so bad at all the names and the vocab. But what were the little guys that flipped the bacon? The little
Mr. Game & Watch.
Mr. Game & Watch. The sound effects with the little like low,
like beep 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 beep.
Yes.
Yeah. Gosh, I think of the sound of like from that game when you get the home run bat and get a perfect hit on someone.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you see, this is off topic, I'm sorry. Did you see Kyle Schwarber's home run off of Yamamoto the other night?
Just to the clips afterwards.
I saw that someone made like a post that said, in quotes, Smash Brothers home run bat sound, because he hit it so far, and that really got a good chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
It's like my world's colliding in one moment.
Yeah.
You when it comes to the GameCube too, was there anything else that you explored, or was it mostly Smash Brothers?
We played so much Smash Brothers. I mean, we would play like Mario Kart more like if our parents were playing with us or something. We wouldn't go to Mario Kart as often as Smash Brothers. We also played Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I think that was on the 64. I don't think we had Tony Hawk for GameCube.
Yeah.
Whichever one, and maybe this is in every Tony Hawk game, but where you like do tricks on the different parts to graffiti them, like to turn them to turn them red or blue.
Yes, I think that was in at least the first 3. Yeah. I like graffiti mode. That's really fun.
But I don't know. I'm like smatterings of other. Oh, I was just talking to someone last night about Sonic, and someone corrected me that it was like Sonic 2. It was the sequel of something.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, maybe where you collect the little animals to put in the oasis.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This game has come up a bunch lately. A recent guest of the show, Grant Moore, and I were talking about it because that's the game that Jeremy Colhane brought on like 4 years ago to discuss.
Funny.
And talking about how the opening sequence has like this obnoxious like song that they made for it as you're like skating actually through San Francisco in the opening level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But there are the little creatures are called chows.
Chows.
Yes.
And you were just collecting them. I don't remember a lot about it, but you were just collecting them.
It was actually really intricate to where you could also collect, there were the chows, but you could collect somehow in levels these little animals that you would save. And then in the chow garden, you could like present a chow with, let's say, like a baby kangaroo. And then your chow would then be better at jumping. And if you, so like it had sort of like not a breeding system, but like a specific growth system. And also if you were like polite to your chow, like you set it down and you like fed it a lot, it would become like an angel. But if you were mean and threw it around, it would become like a devil chow.
Huh. Okay,
Yeah.
That's sort of ringing a bell. But the part about that if you present... Why are you apologizing? The part about that if you presented it a kangaroo, it would get better at jumping. I don't remember so much to the point that I'm like, I wonder if I never discovered that. I wonder if I never unlocked that could help me at all. I just thought it was cute.
Yes, probably.
To bring them back there.
Yeah. That's great though. There's so many. That game is so funny. Did you ever play computer games growing up?
Yes, a lot of them, but I can't remember what they were called, or there was like a learning one with a bunch of Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Sure. So many edutainment games out there.
Yeah, and then one with like a car with balloons.
I wonder if that was Putt Putt.
Yes, Putt Putt.
Okay,
cool. Thank you. And then there was one with this kid who liked bugs or something.
Oh.
Can't remember what it was
called. Was it a similar style of game to Putt Putt?
I don't think so. No,
okay.
It was like a little bit more graphics. Not much, but a little bit more.
Okay, gotcha.
So I did play computer games, but I don't remember a ton of them. I didn't really play Nancy Drew or like the big hit. I didn't play like, I don't know, people from my generation played like
The Sims or stuff like that.
I didn't play this. I wasn't allowed to play The Sims because you could make them have sex.
Oh, yep. Can't have that in the house.
Yeah. So, and everybody knows that when The Sims have sex, it's graphic.
Yeah. Oh, it's graphic, and it will make your child want to do that.
Yeah. So I didn't play like those big hits, but I would also play a lot of the cereal box computer games. Oh, yeah. Like when you go to the website from the back of the cereal box, like, you know, what are the big cereal brands? General Mills, but the like Trix had a bunch of games.
Okay. Yeah. There were websites like that like, yeah, I feel like back even before that, you would sometimes get a CD-ROM in a cereal box, but then it was probably just web-based games. And then that reminds me too of something I didn't interact with that much, but friends did, were like video games on like Disney's website and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I surely did all of that, where it's like, yeah, it takes you to a weird home, and they're like not that fun.
No, they're very simple. Yeah.
And where was the website that the oh my gosh, well, I'm sure you've talked about this a lot, which is not even what I was just trying to remember, but Homestar Runner was huge in my household.
I'll tell you, it does not come up enough. but Homestar Runner was awesome.
Homestar Runner was huge for us. And so I would play I was obsessed with the game where what's the type of game where you type in your answers?
Like it's a text adventure?
Yeah, it's literally just like a black screen with green type.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it would be like, you're in a cave, there's a flask on the wall, and you would type like, get flask. And it would be like, you cannot get the flask.
Yes.
And then you would be like, exit the cave. You cannot exit the cave. It was like so hard to figure out anything you could do at all.
Yes. It was probably
I was obsessed with trying to get anywhere in that game.
Of course. That style of game is already a little prickly is not the right word, but challenging to know the right verb that it wants you to use to do things. Yeah. But I'm got a feeling that the one on the Homestar Runner website was probably even more intentionally stubborn to frustrate the player. Like they leaned into that. But I remember being at summer camp, and I don't know why this happened, but I also went to like Christian summer camps growing up. Sure, hence the whole APU of it all. Uh-huh. And I remember being in like this chapel at summer camp in the middle of the day, or like later in the day, where we all got brought there. And for some reason, they showed a video of like a strong bad email. And it changed my whole summer because I went home and that's all I could do was go to homestarrunner.net.
I feel like, I wonder if that was the same summer as me. I don't remember like a summer, but there was like a time where it was like, we were locked in on Homestar Runner. Yes. And they would do the weekly like little episodes with the ugly cheerleaders.
Oh, Teen Girl Squad.
Teen Girl Squad.
You were brave to do the voice. You saw me kind of chicken out on it for a sec. Yeah.
I'm sure it was horrible to listen to in an audio medium. They would like, those were like episodes or, oh my gosh.
Amber Alert?
Amber Alert. Are you getting this?
I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm just such a professional that
well, now if the missing kid walks by your house, you won't know.
I know.
That's really great, Connor.
I think it's my fault.
Okay, it's Panorama City. That's far away.
Yeah, anyway, we'll rid ourselves of the guilt.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just kidding.
That's the type of joke that like just doing with a friend in person. It's true. It's so easy and fun. And then when you do it on something that's going to be like heard by other people, you're like, well, I want to make sure they know I'm not an awful person.
Yeah. I actually do, just for the listener, always like fully click into the Amber Alert and look at the car details and like try to glance at the license plate. 'Cause I'm like, just in case. Yeah. So I do my due diligence.
Huge.
Anyway, we were huge on Homestar Runner, but what's funny is I don't even remember other kids at school being into it or anything. Maybe they were, but I really just feel like my brothers and I were like, there was an episode where, because what was the girl that Homestar Runner was in love with? And there's
Marzipan.
And there's an episode where they're trying to win the turnip contest or something. They're trying to have the reddest radish.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to get the reddest radish for some reason that was like highly quoted. There's just a lot of stuff that was quoted.
Yes, of course. Speaking of like, you're just talking about quotable games, that website was just a treasure trove of things that me and my best friend would repeat at each other.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's good. Looking further into your history with games, did you continue to play video games at all after that? Were you still getting consoles, or were they something that you just mostly played or interacted with at like a friend's house or in public or something like that?
Well, so what's funny about video games in my upbringing is at a certain point, I can't remember how old, my parents got worried that we were playing too many video games, too much. My parents were very worried about screen time. We had a lot of screen time rules. As they should have been. So there was a while where it was maybe too many video games, and so my parents just like sold the GameCube and just got rid of it.
Oh.
So we had like for a while no video
I'm sorry.
Games. Thank you so much. No, it's okay. So we had a while where there was just no video games, and then if I played it at Mario Kart at a friend's house or something like that. And then my relationship with video games is funny because I love them, but I don't, they're never like super embedded in my life. Like I will download a game and it's good night to me for, however long, a few weeks. It's like I'll be up until 4 a.m. Like when a new Zelda comes out,
Sure.
I'm like Tears of the Kingdom and I won't go anywhere. But then I'll go 6 months without touching a video game.
Yes.
So, and that's been true since I like moved out of my house when I like went away to college. And then I weirdly, shout out to Mr. Price, my senior year English teacher. I weirdly like posted it on Facebook when I was in my 1 year at APU. Does anyone have a GameCube I could have? I'd like a GameCube again. Like I wanted one. And I was moving to LA at that point. It was after I dropped out of school. And Mr. Price, my high school English teacher, was like, I have a GameCube. You can come pick it up from outside my house. And
Mr.
he like
Price.
left it on his doorstep. and I came and got the GameCube. And I'm looking at it right now. I still have this GameCube that was my senior year English teacher's that he just didn't want anymore.
Wow. Ask and you shall receive.
I know.
Jeez.
So then I played, and what I had wanted to play, what I was feeling nostalgic about was Pikmin. That's another game that I would play as Pikmin.
I don't know if it was, I just knew you were going to say that for some reason. Something right before you said it, I was like, she's going to say Pikmin. But anyway.
Yeah, so I think I was feeling nostalgic for Pikmin. I was like, who has a GameCube? Mr. Price gave me his GameCube, and then I played Pikmin. Infuriating game. Pikmin
it is
insane.
Yeah, that game is stressful.
When you start over Pikmin on the GameCube, and I'm almost hope that you like correct me on this. There's no way to turn off the tutorial. And the tutorial,
I don't know, maybe.
The tutorial goes for days. It's like, because Pikmin is played over like 30 days, fake days, but days within the game. And it's for like 6 days that it's like teaching you how to do different things. And then you get you discover new colors with Pikmin. And it is making you read all the instructions and pausing you and stopping you to teach you stuff. But when you start, if you don't finish in the 30 days and you start over, you have to click through all the tutorials again.
Oh, that's annoying.
Anyway.
So you're like, I really want to play this game I have some nostalgia for, and then it ended up being miserable?
Yeah, then it pissed me off.
That's so funny. This is a Pikmin related. I don't know. Do you walk much? Do you track your steps at all?
I don't track my steps, but I love a walk.
I might encourage you, for a much more frictionless experience, to download the Pikmin Bloom walking app. If you are nostalgic for Pikmin, it's basically just a very friendly walking companion app that you have. And let me know if you end up downloading it. We can become friends. There's like walking challenges you can do. You can plant flowers in the digital world. You can fight mushrooms together. I've been using this thing for 2.5 years and like have groups of friends who every week we're like, all right, the new week's starting. Who wants to join this walking group? And then we'll like start a group. It's a lot of fun.
Whoa. It's like Pokemon Go, but for Pikmin?
Kind of. Yeah. You're not like catching Pokemon and but it's really just like a glorified walking companion with cute little Pikmin in your app.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Can you pick them out of the ground or like
when you grow Pikmin, you do pick them out of the ground.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to download it.
It's awesome. They have really cute designs. Like right now, for the month of October, every month there's like new special Pikmin you can get, like design. It's like the same standard colors, but right now they have little calaveras, which is like human skull in Spanish. And so it's like a little Dia de los Muertos thing going on, and they're so cute. So anyway, that's enough Pikmin Bloom evangelizing for me.
That's so funny that you have a Pikmin app that's like part of your life.
It truly changed my day-to-day life, kind of, in the sense that I'm always like, make number go up, walk far. Now I have a Fitbit too that's made me even crazier. But
wow, all
that because you brought up Pikmin. So that's a great story though about you getting that GameCube from Mr. Price after you dropped out of school. Have you come back to gaming in recent years? It kind of sounds like you've been playing some Switch games.
Yes. Yeah. I got a Switch this is what we'll get into with my main event, but I got a Switch in the pandemic. And now I will. The same thing as, like I said, where it's like I'll download a game and get. I think sticking with Nintendo works for me because there's not that many options. And maybe that's an insane thing to say, but I think it's true. Like the Nintendo's a lot more limited than like the PlayStation or the Xbox. So in terms of games that I care about playing, in terms of like the $60 huge gameplay games, there's not a million of them. And certainly not that many that I care about. So it works for me because I can get really obsessed with something and then move on from it. So yeah, I'll play here and there. I've been playing more recently. What have I been playing? I'll like get obsessed with something and play it for a while. My husband and I play the It Takes Two. Is that what it's called? Yeah. With the like divorcing couple.
The divorced couple, yeah.
So we play that together. Because it's like 2-player and you have to work together. Have you played that game? It's really fun.
Played PJ McCormick and I played that in like 2021 together when he like, this is more context than you need, but he moved back to LA and like lived with me for 2 weeks and we just played that game.
Wow.
It was great. And so it really built our relationship. But yeah, it's a great game. Really fun.
And I recently like finally played through Stardew Valley all the way, which I have maybe controversial feelings about. Because I sort of got to the end and was unsatisfied.
Okay, interesting.
Like I really just want, and what I really just most recently finished is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay, there we go.
And when I finished Luigi's Mansion 3, I was like, I did it. I felt good. Like I enjoyed finishing that game. The bosses get harder to beat. Like I love a classic Nintendo main boss battle.
Yes.
So really satisfying for me. But a game like Stardew Valley, get to the end. I can just keep making my farm look different if I want to. Who cares?
I see. Yes. Not quite a like definitive ending to the narrative.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And shout out again. I'm doing so many shout outs. Catherine Stigmeyer on my indie team Old Milk got so mad at me because I said I got to the end, but I that doesn't mean I've gotten 100%. I can't care about that. She got so mad when she found out I have not caught all the fish in Stardew Valley. I don't care.
Man, I finally dipped into that game this year for the first time, and I actually I want to go back to it, but that's one that I have friends who have poured hundreds of hours into it, and I've done things like that, like catch every fish, plant every plant. Like as someone who started from the beginning earlier this year, I can't believe the things people can do in that game, and I don't know if I have the patience for it.
No, because sometimes the fish is like, or whatever thing you have to get, the fish or the vegetable or the whatever. It's like you can only get it at 2 a.m. on a summer night.
Yes.
And you're like, it's the fall. I have to play through a year of gameplay to get back to try to... I can't care about that. I don't care about like completing a game to 100% in that way. And I have the same thing with my favorite games. Like Zelda, this might be insane because I love these games. I don't think I have finished Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
But if you had did you enjoy your time with them?
Loved. And I almost did, you know? It's like, I'm thinking of the Breath of the Wild, like there's like 4 main things you have to conquer, 4 main bosses before the big, and I think it's like, I did 3 of them or something.
Yeah.
I don't ever do a walkthrough unless I'm really stuck. And I think it's fine if you do, but for me, I'm like, what? I don't know what's fun about not figuring it out yourself.
Oh, sure,
like, playing a game is you figure it out yourself. But then I learned insane things like that. In Breath of the Wild, I hadn't gotten the Master Sword, and I had beat like 3 of these huge bosses without the Master Sword. And someone was like, you're supposed to get the Master Sword like way earlier. So I sort of do it all wrong, or I don't know. And then once I'm done, I'm like, copy that, I'm good.
Yeah, you know what? You can have as thorough of an experience as you want with something, and if it suits you, it suits you, and you don't have to see everything through. Like there was a game recently that I played where I'm like, you know what? Oh, I played the new for the Switch 2 Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's this new awesome game starring Donkey Kong, and you can 100% that game. I probably did about 70% of the things and saw the narrative through, and that's what I wanted to do, and it was good for me. But some people have this like drive to do every single thing, and it's not the way I play.
Is there anything that you have that you're like similar to the baseball thing where it's like you're not a real fan if you don't, whatever, with video games, like something that you can't be chill about?
That's a wonderful question. I feel like I've become so kind of like sports, so almost soft is the way I would describe it. But if I had to think of something like that.
Because you care about video games a lot. Like,
I do.
There's got to be something where it drives you crazy that people are like, who cares?
You know what? I don't have a good answer for you right now, but that is one of the more compelling questions that's been posed to me on the show. If I think of a good answer before we're done, even in the second half, I'll let you know. Even if it has nothing to do with Earthbound Beginnings.
I want to know. I'm curious.
The last question I have for you during this segment before we head to break is there another game that you have your sights set on or that you are interested in playing that you have not gotten to yet? This could be another retro game or something that's come out for the Switch that you'd like to play.
Well, there's sort of always a thing for me about, do I finally buy a PlayStation? So the things that I have my sights set on are sort of like always things where I'm like, will I finally buy a PlayStation and play through The Last of Us?
Okay.
Or what everyone's obsessed with right now, which is Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
In my world, everyone's obsessed with Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Have been for like 2 years. People love that game.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, the Nintendo's a little bit limited. So I'm like, there's nothing that I'm like dying to play right now, Nintendo wise, but I'm always just like flirting with, do I finally buy another console?
Yeah,
and I think it's good for me not to, because so for example, something that I'm famous for, and we can talk about this in Earthbound as well, is not famous for, no one thinks about
no
this
you're famous for
all,
people. It's out there.
Something that I know about myself is that I start to play a game that I've heard everyone is obsessed with, and I play the first version of that game, and then it turns out what everyone was obsessed with was the sequel.
Oh, I see.
And an example of that is Red Dead Redemption. I was like hearing about Red Dead Redemption, and I was like, I've got to play this game. And they released the first one for Switch. And so I played the first Red Dead Redemption on Switch. I was obsessed with it, by the way. I loved, I got rich playing blackjack, and I was obsessed with it. But then everybody was like, you're insane. That's not the Red Dead Redemption that everyone talks about. It's Red Dead Redemption 2. But I don't have access to Red Dead Redemption 2 because that's only on PlayStation, I think. It's not on the Switch.
Yeah, it's not on Switch.
They appear to have no plans of making it for the Switch. So
yeah, there are rumors that they're working on a port for the Switch 2, but not the original Switch. So yeah, there are a lot of games and games like that were made originally for those higher fidelity consoles like the PlayStation 5 that are coming to the Switch 2. So I might say if you get a new console at some point, just make it the Switch 2. Yeah. Because
I probably should, but I guess that's the answer to the question. What I'm wondering is why the Switch 2? Like, what is different about it? And I guess just like better hardware, better capacity to handle bigger games.
Even a few of the games that you've mentioned for the original Switch have some major upgrades on them, like the Zelda games that are on there, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they run at a higher frame rate. So the original ran at 30 frames. This runs at 60, and I think the resolution's higher. So yeah, but I mean, if you're ever really curious, you could get a PlayStation 5. There's a whole other world out there of exclusive games that are on that system. So
I know, but I'm scared that I'll fall into a hole.
Yeah, that definitely could happen. Laney, this has been great. I had way more to talk about when it came to your general history with gaming than I could have even expected. So that was awesome. Thank you for engaging with me on this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll finally get into all things Earthbound Beginnings. So I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game. Connor McCabe returning to the microphone with my guest, Laney Serface. Laney, welcome back.
Thank you.
It is time to get into the main event today, where we are going to discuss Earthbound Beginnings, and we're going to do so by setting the table a little bit and just describing, getting out some history and context for what this game is. So, Laney, like I said before the pod started recording, if you want to jump in at any time, you've got the green light. Otherwise, I'm just going to monologue about this for a little bit, okay?
Great.
All right. Earthbound Beginnings, originally released in Japan as Mother, is a 1989 role-playing video game developed by Ape Incorporated and Nintendo and published by Nintendo for the Famicom, which for most people probably know this, but that's the Nintendo Entertainment System equivalent over in Japan. It had a different design aesthetically, but it was essentially the same system with a little bit more capability. It's the first entry in the Mother series and first released in Japan on July 27th, 1989. The game was re-released in Japan along with its sequel, Earthbound, aka Mother 2, in a single cartridge compilation called Mother 1+2 for the Game Boy Advance in 2003. The game follows a young American boy named Ninten as he uses his great-grandfather's studies on psychic powers to put an end to the paranormal phenomena spiraling the country into disarray. Writer and director Shigesato Itoi pitched Mother's concept to Shigeru Miyamoto while visiting Nintendo's headquarters for other business. Laney, do you know anything about this guy, Shigesato Itoi?
No.
The best way I can describe him, he was sort of like a famous jack of all trades in Japan who was like a musician, a copywriter, a comedian. Early on when I first was learning about Earthbound, I described him, which is not totally accurate, as sort of like a Donald Glover type. He was like a celebrity who was good at a lot of stuff. We'll get into like why this game was created, but yeah, he pitched this idea to the head of Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, back before the game came out, of course. And though Miyamoto rejected the proposal at first, he eventually gave Itoi a development team. Modeled after the gameplay of the Dragon Quest series, Mother subverted its fantasy genre contemporaries by being set in an offbeat parody of the late 20th century United States. Itoi sought to incorporate standard RPG staples within the framework of a modern-day setting, parodying the Western culture and Americana, something that it has in common with Earthbound as well. Mother sold around 400,000 copies upon its release, where it was praised for its similarities to the Dragon Quest series and its simultaneous parody of the genre's trope, though its high difficulty level and balance issues polarized critics. A North American localization of Mother was completed and slated for release as Earthbound, but was abandoned as being commercially non-viable. A prototype was later found and publicly circulated on the internet under the informal title Earthbound Zero, and though many critics considered Mother's sequel to be similar and an overall better implementation of its gameplay ideas, Jeremy Parrish of OneUp.com wrote that Mother importantly generated interest in video game emulation and the historical preservation of unreleased games. Finally, in 1994, Mother's sequel, Mother 2, was released in Japan for the Super Famicom, which was localized and released in America in 1995 under the name Earthbound, which you've brought up a few times. Earthbound initially flopped in the US, but later gained a cult following and was followed by the Japan-only sequel Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance in 2006. To this day, this game has never received a release outside of Japan. A lot of people like myself have like a fan translation cartridge of this game. It's like one of the few ways to play it. Nintendo just doesn't like to acknowledge this game for some reason. To commemorate the 20th anniversary of Earthbound's US release, Mother, aka Earthbound Beginnings, was released globally under that title for the Wii U Virtual Console in 2015, and then was finally released alongside Earthbound for the Nintendo Classics online service in February 2022. That was a lot of information, but turns out this game has more just like context that's a little important for it compared to some titles. But did you want to include any other details, or do you want to get into your experience with the game?
I don't think I know any other details to all of the stuff about Mother versus Earthbound is confusing to me. Like,
yes,
if I've ever had to look up anything, like if I've been stuck in Earthbound Beginnings, the way it's talking about Mother as though it's a separate game is very confusing. Like sometimes they're talking about it like they are separate, like Earthbound Beginnings is separate from Mother 1.
Interesting.
Mother 2, or I don't know. I've never been able to nail it all down. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because they also have different versions of Earthbound Beginnings where it's like, you know, you couldn't sprint, and then they were like, please God, we need to let him sprint,
yes,
or whatever.
Yeah, and there's definitely like discrepancies about the releases and the naming conventions that make it really confusing to find. I'm sure, especially for Earthbound Beginnings, more than the sequel Earthbound, hard to find.
Yeah. But
let's get into this. You had, talked to me a little bit about your discovery of the game before we recorded, but how did you discover Earthbound Beginnings for the listener?
Well, as I had mentioned, I got a Switch in the pandemic when everyone was getting a Switch, because everyone was playing Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing was like huge. And I was like, I have nothing. I mean, I actually was working the whole pandemic. It's a different story. But I was like, I want to do the thing everyone else is doing. So I got a Switch and got Animal Crossing.
Okay.
And I freaking hate Animal Crossing. Sorry about that. I know a lot of people really love it. That's fine.
Can you put your finger on what it was about the game?
So boring. Most boring game ever. It's the most boring game ever. It's like the same thing we talked about with Stardew Valley. Yep. Stardew Valley is marginally better because it has a little bit of a story going on. There's something a little spooky, icky happening. It's a little better, but still ultimately it's sort of all for nothing.
Yeah.
So I hated Animal Crossing. I played it for like however long you like set up your original thing, and then I can't care about upgrading my house any further or whatever. So I was like looking for what else to do on the Switch and discovered the subscription that you can get to all the old games. And, I have like a lot of nostalgia for the old game because I played on a Nintendo 64 and even the GameCube, like for long after there was the Wii and there was new things you could be getting, we were still playing the kind of like older-ish. So I have a lot of nostalgia. So I don't know why. I think I like played one of the original Super Marios, and then Earthbound was the next thing I saw. Saw that it was Ness and was like, that's cute. I remember him from Super Smash Brothers. But then when I looked it up, I have this, because Earthbound is the main one. But when I looked it up and discovered there's Earthbound Beginnings, I'm like, I want to play the first.
Yes.
I want to play the first one, which doesn't even have Ness in it, actually. So I don't know I don't really understand how I arrived at it from just scrolling around on the Nintendo subscription.
Yeah. That's just, it is still fascinating to me how you got there from really not taking to Animal Crossing to checking out the subscription service to recognizing Ness and then being compelled. And you're not the only person who's like this, but being compelled to be like, I have to start at the beginning. Do you do that with like books and movies and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
it just tells me a little bit about you.
If we're talking Star Wars, I'm going to tell you to watch I'm going to tell you to watch it in the order that it came out in. Mm-hmm. I don't need you to start like literally chronologically at the beginning. But if I'm going to get into something, like somebody was just telling me, because I'm trying to watch some spooky movies that I've never seen.
Oh, yeah.
And someone was like, Friday the 13th, part 2 is like the one that's good. But I was like, but I gotta watch the first one, though, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't have to watch the first one. 2 is the main one. But I want to start at the beginning. Yeah,
I kind of did the same thing, and I don't think I have this chronic like need quite like you do, and I am describing it as a chronic need, but I do understand that for sure, especially more so with movies than anything. Like games, I actually have an easier time leaving by the wayside. But all that being said, you came to Earthbound Beginnings. Mm-hmm. What were some of your first impressions, if you can remember them?
Well, spooky. Like, what's going on?
Sure.
Like, what a weird little vibe. I'm like immediately like, I was immediately so, it sounds so dramatic to say this word, but like captivated by the the soundtrack is like the coolest thing in the world. The soundtrack, my husband's a musician and he would be like walking around the house and like hearing the little soundtracks and being like, he like was so interested in because the soundtrack is so cool. So the whole vibe of it, like the world that it puts you in is like, it's so bizarro. Your dad's calling you from far away, telling you to rest. Your mom's like making you your favorite food that you get to enter in yourself.
Yes.
Someone's missing. Because the beginning of it is like, you know, a long time ago, this couple, George and, my memory's so bad. George and Mary, I think.
I think something like that, yeah.
George and Maria, maybe. It might have been that's a spoiler a little bit, but I guess it's been many decades.
Yeah, it's okay. Spoilers could come up today, no worries.
But, you know, it starts you with like, this couple went away, I forget to do what, and then only George comes back. And then it's like, it's now been 80 years. And then you just like start the game.
Yeah.
And it's like Maria never returned. It's just like, you know, the story is so, when you were saying he pitched it, I was like, what did he pitch? Like, what was the pitch for this weird little game?
Yeah, was it like, hey, I've got a really eccentric idea for a video game that's like parodies Americana, or did he get into the nitty gritty of like that like setup that you just pitched? There's
a missing woman. She's become a queen in her own imagination.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Yes.
But I love it.
Yeah, it's very strange. It sounds like, I mean, I've always, my outside perception of Earthbound Beginnings, as someone who has played through Earthbound a couple of times and is very familiar with it, but only also within the last 6 years, so it's still pretty new to me. My understanding of Beginnings is that a lot of people have sort of viewed it as almost like a prototype for Earthbound. That's not what I don't believe that was the intention during development, was, hey, we're working on this to really work on this next thing. But there are so many things it has in common, like the eccentricities or the humor or the like almost like morbidity that it can get into at times. It still can be. So it was so unique for the time and has like spawned its own almost genre of RPGs today, more that I could tell you about that aren't in my recommendations for you, but like you might actually find interesting. So I'm not surprised to find that you were captured by it because it's so peculiar.
Yeah, like right away and you could really go crazy when you start this game. And if anybody decides to play this game, it's just like, give it an hour and you'll be okay. Because at the beginning, you cannot take a step without getting pulled into a battle.
Yes.
And you will finish your battle and literally the next step. Like I was replaying it the last couple of weeks to like remind myself. And I remember like going insane the first time I played it. And you build up experience and then it gets way easier and you get attacked a little bit less. But honestly, still as you go, even when you have way more experience, it's like it maybe doesn't let you go 5 seconds of walking without entering into a battle. So it can really drive you insane. But the weird things you're getting pulled into a battle with are like an insane hippie.
Yes.
It's like you're just trying to walk into town to see what's going on. You've just like fought a poltergeist in your house that was like in a baby doll.
Yeah.
This game is so weird.
Yes.
There's a poltergeist in your house. You have to like fight the baby doll to unpoltergeist it. But it's like the things that are attacking you are like a crazy hippie, like they're weird. I can't remember all the
and they'll get more
ones.
Abstract as you go through the game too.
Yes.
I would guess, like the other two do.
Yes. Super strange. Super it's really creative. I mean, it's very creative.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back to it at this game, you were talking about some of your early moments. Did you find yourself eventually like getting in a groove and like seeing this through?
Yes, the same thing that happens to me always, which is like I become obsessed and then I only play that and I cancel on social gatherings and stuff so that I can play my game. So yeah, I can't remember. There's a lot of stuff that's later in the game that I don't have as good of memory for, other than the major plot moments. But I did finish it a few years ago, like all the way, because also it does a really good job, I think, of keeping you, something that is missing from the types of games like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, not to be a hater, is like it does a really good job of keeping you understanding what your next goal is, or like what you need to do. And similar to Ocarina of Time, you have to like find these songs.
You do, to, like the 8 melodies. Songs.
So it's like I have to go find, that's right, they're called I have to go find the melodies. Or it just does a good job of like giving you a goal. So I stayed really locked in.
Yes, that's great. Thinking about more details about the game too, what else stood out to you about it? Whether it be like art style or the combat system or humor, is there anything that like first comes to mind?
Really just the tone. The tone of it is the main thing, which is like partially the humor, semi-spooky, it's really melancholic, I think.
Yeah.
It's very like sort of sad and lonely from the beginning. Like even when your dad is calling you, there's something sort of sad about the way he's like, when you die, he asks you, do you want to keep going or would you like to rest?
Yeah.
Which is like, do you want to quit the game, basically? And then when you say keep going, he's like working so hard, like just like your mom. There's something sort of sad happening.
Yeah.
That really, it's very striking. Like if you play it, I've never played a video game that captured a tone that type of tone that way before. Yeah.
It's amazing what they took from this first game and brought into the second one and even refined in some ways, because it's crazy how much it has in common with with Earthbound Beginnings as well. Like your dad in the second game, without spoiling anything, is also constantly just calling you. You never see him. There's this funny thing where in the newest Super Smash Brothers game, they have all these like icons for these like stickers you can get, and there's one icon is they have like representations of characters throughout Nintendo's video games that you can fight. They of course don't have, it's not like you're fighting every single character throughout history, but when you fight Ness's dad in this special mode, the icon is a telephone, and I don't remember what character it is, but whatever character you actually fight is just an invisible version of that character. So it's like they're commenting on the dad being absent.
Yeah.
But still calling you. So it's...
And where is he?
I think he's working. I think he's
at work.
Always at work, which I believe that's a bit of a trope from... it's like it's commentary on like Japanese businessmen in the like late 80s, early 90s who were, I guess in so many words, workaholics, who weren't always home. And it might even be Itoi commenting on his dad's presence in his life. I don't know that for sure, but it could be. Amazing. When it came to getting the hang of this title as well, had you played a JRPG or like something with a battle system like this, or is it a first?
Pokemon is my best comparison. Yeah, is like, played a lot of Pokemon on Game Boy growing up.
Okay, and interesting.
So, similar thing where it's like you're walking around and you get pulled into a battle.
Yes. Gosh, just and I believe in Earthbound Beginnings, do you not see the characters that you're fighting on the overworld, or is it just like you are walking and then battle?
You're just walking and then it's a battle.
Random encounters, those are brutal.
And the noise and stuff is like when you're really getting mad, because it's like if there's something that's like, when I was just replaying it, there's a part where you're in Magicant,
yes,
and you got to try to figure out how to get out. Everything's so spooky. You got to figure out how to get out of Magicant. I couldn't remember how to get out. You talk to a man on a ledge who maybe jumps. he's on a ledge in a weird way, and then he's gone. And I went, did he jump?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I kept dying in the little cavern thing you go into. And so it's like, I'm really getting like, I gotta get through this. And so when you're getting stopped, when you're in a mode of like, now I had to go back to my save point. I have to get all the way back to the cavern, fall down the well or the hole, you know, try to get through this thing again without dying. And you're getting stopped. The noise, like the little change in soundtrack when you get pulled into the battle is like triggering.
Oh,
that's like, for me, that's my version of, I don't work in corporate world at all, of like the Slack tone.
Oh,
I'm like,
yes.
Leave me alone.
Oh, that's so funny. I could understand how that would just become so triggering and grating hearing that when you're so already just like straining to finish this part.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. We've gotten to talk a lot about what is great or memorable for you about the game itself, and we can keep doing that. But I want to dive into the context of your life when you were playing this, only just a few years ago. Can you scene paint for me the room where your Switch was set up and like what that room was or is like when you were playing this?
Well, it was in the my old apartment, my apartment before this one, really little shoebox apartment in Studio City. And it was pandemic, and it was like, I, for a second, was working 2 jobs in the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Because when I worked at a coffee shop, and I started in January 2020. So like in March, it was like, you know,
everything went crazy.
Were like, so I literally went into work one day, and the owner was there, and he was like, I have to send you home because there's no customers and whatever. And when that happened, I was like, remember, it felt like the world might end.
Yes.
I was like, what's the safest thing I could do? I went into like survival. And so I walked into the grocery store near our house, and I was like, can I work here? Because it felt like everybody always needs a grocery store.
Yeah, as stable as a job that you could have.
Yes. So I went and got a job at the grocery store, like right when I got furloughed from the coffee shop, which honestly was a hack because I had access to everything. I had hand sanitizer. I had toilet paper. It was an insane job. It was like, in the pandemic times, not safe. Like, they weren't taking care of us well. But I felt that's what made me feel like I can protect my family and my livelihood in case the world's ending.
Yeah.
And then the coffee shop came back. So I was working for a second at the coffee shop and the grocery store. So when I get my Switch and I'm starting to play games, I'm like working 60 plus hours a week.
Oh.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
And now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, I could have easily quit. Kind of what had happened was there wasn't really enough hours to give me back at the coffee shop. So I wouldn't have been working enough at the time, I guess. But also because I also got unemployment for reduced wages at the time. This is so in the weeds.
Yes.
But because I used to work for tips at the coffee shop, I got unemployment for reduced wages. And this is the days of the stimulus. So I was getting a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't really know why I stayed in both jobs at the same time. It just made me feel safe, maybe. I don't know.
You're like, well, what if we don't need food anymore? Then I got this coffee shop gig.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know but I was going crazy. I was like crying a lot. I was so tired. So the Switch was like, give me something to like do when I'm at home that isn't doom scrolling, you know?
Yeah. An escape of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah. And like kind of fun and light. Hopefully.
Yes.
That's what Animal Crossing felt like it could be.
Yeah.
And it is. It is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I remember that time quite vividly too. I think one day I remember the day that it started to feel really serious, and it had already, I think, been in the back of everyone's mind for a while. I remember I used to work at this restaurant, Pizzeria Mozza. I was a host there. And I used to host during the afternoons for lunch many days, like 5 to 6 days a week. And I left work one day And I was like, I have to stop by the grocery store on the way home because what if, and I think that was the last day I worked there. It was just done afterwards. But I remember going to the pavilions on, was it Melrose? On Melrose and Vine. And it felt truly apocalyptic because the parking lot was completely full. The lines were going down the aisles. There was nothing on the shelves except stuff no one wanted. And so I understand those feelings of just like uncertainty and stress. And I didn't end up working. I just was getting like, you know, like what did you call it? I was also like
Stimulus?
laid off. Yeah. So I was getting like, you know, the
unemployment.
stimulus and paid by my job. So I didn't work 60 hours a week like you did, but I can only imagine how that would add to the stress.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Goodness.
But, if it ever happens again, really a heck. I mean, no one needed to do that, of course. Like, everyone was just trying to survive. And that's what made me feel safe was like, if I can lock down a job at a grocery store, those things will stay.
Totally.
But it was crazy and it was harmful to my mental and physical health. But the trucks would come in and we would crack them open in the warehouse and like get what we needed before it went to the floor. Wow. So it kind of was awesome. And I think baller for me, just that I'm like, when it goes down, I'm ready to go.
I mean,
I'm
resourceful.
I'm gonna figure out what to do.
Yeah. And you can make something happen for yourself. Absolutely. So yeah, I guess that is a nice positive takeaway is like you learned a little bit about yourself too.
Yeah.
Like you're capable.
Yes.
Had you worked at a grocery store before then?
No.
Well, you had a little, at least food service experience at the coffee shop. I know they're not exactly the same, but.
And I worked at Target when I was a teenager. That was my first job. I was a cashier at Target.
Was that awful or fine?
I loved it. It was great. Oh my God. I was a cashier. So I was like, just like standing there, which is like, you play that as a kid where you're like, boop, boop. Like I was just standing there beeping this stuff. It was like fun.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. I was just curious. My first job I ever worked was at a grocery store and I still have such vivid memories of being a bagger at a Central Valley chain and all that came with it.
That's what I did in the pandemic was I was a bagger.
Yes.
But this was in LA and so it was like, this is not about Earthbound, but it was like, you know, I was bagging groceries for like Adam Scott and Zoe Deutsch and Tyler Posey. I'm like trying to think of all the famous people who came through the Studio City Ralphs. Jeff Ross. There was like, I was like gloved and masked, but like, what a weird time.
I know that exact Ralph's. It's on what are the cross streets of that? It's
Ventura and Vineland?
I think so, yeah. I had my best friend out here, him and his first roommate, they used to live in an apartment building like just two buildings north of that Ralph's. So man, if I haven't been in there under the influence and having a great time. So now I'm placing you there as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. When you think back to this time as well and playing the game, do you remember, are there any particular moments that stood out to you? This could be game related or context related for just, you know, work or your life of an event that happened. Like this could be like a breakthrough in the game or like a memorable moment working that job.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there's any big breakthrough in the game for me, like where I was so like, what's going on?
Do you remember finishing it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my memory is so bad, but yes, I mean, I remember like the plot points of finishing it. Yeah, and then I like looked it up after to see all the different things that could have because there's like there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to do in order to finish it, or you know. So I remember so spooky that it's like there's all these adults that were like missing and captured. Do you know about
there's a version of that in the sequel, but I don't know about this one.
You like release a bunch of adults that were like trapped.
Wow.
It's such a weird little spooky game. I don't remember like a huge big moment.
Sure.
I mean, I don't want to be so heavy, but the big memory I remember about the job at Ralph's was also during the big protest
Yeah,
moment
like
in 2020.
like the Black Lives Matter movement then?
Yes, and there was one big day that was like there was a protest that was like there was a like riot that was like on its way, and they were like breaking through buildings, and they had to like shut down the grocery store. They had to like shut down the Ralph's and decide whether or not to send us home. Yeah, because it was like this big group is coming or something. That's like the biggest thing I can remember.
Gosh, so this was like, you know, like because I remember when all of that was going on too, there was of course plenty of like protests going on around the city, and then in the wake of that too, there would be people like who were like also not involved, like breaking into, like my old work got like had like property damage done to it by people who were just kind of like, I don't know if you call them bad actors or what. Yes. But was this like a similar thing where it was
That's what it was. It wasn't like the protest was marching and we were like scared of the protest. It was like there was specifically like a group of rioters that were like making their way down Ventura Boulevard or something. It was
That's
like
scary.
Like coming towards us.
Yeah.
And they were like, I mean, we were so, I don't know if I want to like badmouth Ralph's on here, but we were like not very well protected in general with COVID safety and whatever. So that night I remember they were like they shut the grocery store down, they locked it all down, and they were like, I'm a bagger. So it's like, there's nothing I can do if there's no customers, but they wanted us to stay and like do stock shelves and stuff. And we were sort of like, you just shut the store down because it's unsafe.
Yeah.
Because it's unsafe. Let us go home, maybe.
Gosh.
And of course, nothing ended up happening to that Ralph's. But
that's still such like that seems very hypocritical to do that.
Yeah, just classic corporate.
Yes. Hey, you can still work, right? But I know we might be in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, that's upsetting.
It doesn't have anything to do with Earthbound, and it's so heavy. But Earthbound was like at a heavy time that I was playing it. And it's funny, even now, I haven't really thought about before that that game is so melancholic and sort of sweeping and sad. And I hadn't really made that connection before, that's like, it was a really sad time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was cathartic at all, or if they were both just like both the game and the moment in your life were they brought on a lot of big feelings. Might be a very simple way to put it. Yeah,
I think now I'm thinking about, I could just be like over psychoanalyzing it, but thinking about playing Animal Crossing at the time and that absolutely not doing it for me. It's making sense that then playing Earthbound Beginnings was like allowed me to like, not try to full stop escape the feelings that were happening. Like, because I do like to partake in media that like helps me to feel, I mean, I love escapism and entertainment also, but, sometimes I will be like, I need to watch a movie that like helps me cry because I feel like I'm needing to. So
like leaning in a little bit. It makes sense
to me that Earthbound Beginnings was working for me in a way that Animal Crossing wasn't.
Yes, that's so interesting. This is about me, but I remember The Last of Us 2 had come out right around the same exact time you're describing, and I remember I had played the first one and loved it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play this game right now. I don't want to play a game where it's like it's about a really dark future where people are separated from each other or killing each other. I'm going to avoid that. And then I waited until I played it in November, when then I was living alone and was even more lonely, and things were also terrible. But so you leaned into it. I avoided it like a lot of people.
But thank God you did, because The Last of Us 2 is like traumatizing.
Yeah, it's
I only
nuts.
know it now because of the show, but I actually can't believe what that put me through, the plot of The Last of Us 2. Like I couldn't believe how much I could not process my feelings being like, this is fake. This is a fake TV show. These characters are not real. Like I couldn't get over it.
Yeah. Just wait till part 2 of season 2 as well. I'm sure it's going to lean into more stuff.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, before we wrap up this moment, is there anything about the game that you haven't gotten to bring up yet that you wanted to detail before we, just have you put a bow on this?
I don't know. My main things about the game are like it's so creative. It's so detailed and like imaginative. That man whose name you keep saying.
Itoy.
I want to live inside of his brain. Like, I can't believe what he came up with. Like the things, if people haven't played, that they don't know about, where it's like you're trying to bring these melodies to the queen. And then it turns out that she's the missing woman. And she forgot who she was and had become the queen of this world magic hand. I don't know. I think it's really remarkable, and I'm really glad that I played it before. I've never played the second one. I've never played Earthbound, and probably it's time to now. But I'm really glad that I did the first one, because it's like I think you're missing out if you're like a big video game player and you haven't experienced that weird tale. The story is so strange. Anyway.
That's great. I feel like, it also feels like you just kind of wrapped up your thoughts on it in a way. But I say this a lot because anytime I bring someone on to talk about a game I haven't played, it's inevitably, I'm like, ooh, this is really interesting. But this one, especially because I've played Earthbound and Mother 3, and doing research for this has gotten me very much wanting to play Beginnings. I don't know when I'll do it.
I want you to.
But
you should. I want you to. It doesn't take that long even.
Yeah.
I think if I'm remembering right, it doesn't take that long. Like It's not going to take up months of your life. You can finish it.
Huge.
It's not a huge game. But because that's a big spoiler about the queen. Is that in the second one? Is that in Earthbound?
So she's not in it at all, but Magicant is. Which is...
But how? Because Magicant's in her brain.
That's a good question. I don't know if it ties into her at all, but I basically played it twice in 2019, so it's been 6 years, so there could be something there. But it's funny
I want you to play it. If you do, tell me, because
I definitely will.
It's so, I feel like there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
It's so like, it's like I haven't played that. You've played many more video games than me, but I do feel like Earthbound Beginnings is an experience that you do not get in any other game.
I think for good reason this series is like very well beloved and like has a cult following because it is very special and unique, like you were saying. But we've got a couple of fun post-show segments to do, but before we go, thank you for bringing on this game. I'm always grateful for whatever game people bring on, but this one was so fun to talk about, not just your experience with the game, but from the very interesting context of your life of when you played it. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you for letting me.
You bet. The first of the 2 Fact Me by Your Game segments I have titled, the first of the 2 post-show segments is the Fact Me by Your Game segment, where I'm going to share one fun fact with you about this game. And I have this titled, A Mountain of Localization. So as I go back to my research here, let's find this. Connor. Okay, so there is, kind of famously in video games, there are certain laws, especially in the United States, about content that are different from those throughout the world or internationally. Sure. And so there are certain things that the United States, especially back in the 90s, was like, you cannot have this in your video game, or that even if it was allowed somewhere else. So it can be kind of a fun exercise to go to a game that you're familiar with, like Earthbound Beginnings or other ones, and see what they changed. Like, for example, an English localization, I'll just start honestly reading this, began for Mother titled Earthbound in 1990 and was completed in September of that year. The localization was headed by Phil Sandhop, who had previously worked on the English version of Final Fantasy, and in accordance with Nintendo of America's content policies, all religious iconography, blood, they have titled here, breast nipples, cigarettes, and references to violence and alcohol were removed. So a lot of like little content details. Some things that I think were like explicit in character design, others were like environments. So I'm looking here, even just on the Wikipedia page, they have a screenshot from Mother and Earthbound Beginnings side by side in the church in which I guess it's called the Chateau.
In the cemetery?
Yeah, maybe there's also a cemetery too, or maybe the chateau's in the cemetery.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
But on the wall, like at the head of the church in the Japanese version, there's a big cross. But in the version of the U.S. release, there is just like a stained glass window. So they removed stuff like that. And if you go and look up, let me see, is this the? Let's go, not here, but. Let's go to, so there's a link that I'll send you, and I'll actually put a link in the show notes as well, of just these side-by-side, I'm going to drop it in the chat right now, side-by-side comparisons of Mother and Earthbound Beginnings of just little details. Sometimes it's taking blood out of like a character sprite, which you'll see in the first one fighting a gang zombie. Other times it's like, removing religious iconography like I was saying.
That's so funny because, like, with these graphics, like removing the blood is so zero. It's so funny.
It almost feels silly to do that because it looks like it could just be a part of like the first character's shirt. Like it's like a pattern on her shirt.
And you can have blood now.
Yeah.
Is this like an old law, or is it because of the rating of the game?
I think it had to do with the time it was released, but also the fact that it was a Nintendo of America policy at the time.
Wow.
But in plenty of games now, it's just not an issue.
Wow, you can't even name the zombie Bloody Zombie. This is so funny.
Very silly. So that's just the one fun fact was like localization is such a big thing from games coming over to the US from Japan, but this one in particular had a lot of hoops for those people to jump through, including changes in design. The final segment that I have for you today is the game recommendations. Now, Laney, this is my one forced tie-in to the movie Call Me By Your Name, where I'm going to treat Earthbound Beginnings as your passionate summer fling that you have in Italy. But of course, like the movie, that relationship is not going to work out. So in order to help you get over this heartbreak, I've got 3 potential new flings to introduce you to that all have a little something in common with Earthbound Beginnings.
Great.
Most importantly, I need to know, are you ready to get back out there?
Yeah. Yes. I'm ready to go.
I love the enthusiasm. You're in a great place. So I have 3 for you today. The first of which is if what you liked about Earthbound Beginnings was that it was a subversive RPG, if you happen to be so knowledgeable on the genre and you're like, I like that this is doing something different, I'll recommend another subversive RPG. It's something called Moon Remix RPG Adventure. This was a title for the original PlayStation and in many ways is also just subverting the genre.
Whoa, Moon Remix.
I had mentioned to you earlier, by the way, I had probably some RPGs that were going to be easier to recommend, but how Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound came to inspire like their own genre of RPGs. Have you heard of Undertale?
It's familiar.
Okay, Undertale, Omori. There's another game made by the same guy who did Undertale called Deltarune. I think you should check out Undertale soon. Like, This is off the record. This is not one of my recommendations, but I think if you like Beginnings, I think Undertale is for you.
Okay, great.
You can get it on your Switch as well.
And maybe because of my, what did you call it? Chronic.
How did I describe
What did you call it? Because of my need to start at the beginning, maybe I have to do Moon Remix.
Hey,
first,
which I think is also on the Switch.
Wow. Okay, Moon Remix. I am writing it down.
I love it.
It's called Moon Remix. What?
RPG Adventure.
Okay. I love it.
And then your second recommendation is if what you really liked about this game is actually the Americana setting. That's what really drew you in. You loved it. You loved that this is sort of like a parody look at it. You want to play another game with an Americana setting, but actually it's in a dystopian post-nuclear Fallout future. I'll recommend Fallout 3. I bet you're familiar with the show. Have you played any of the games, or did you see the show?
Yes, I saw much of the show. I don't think I finished it.
I've only played part of one Fallout game. This one I'm recommending to you, Fallout 3. It's a first person RPG where it basically takes place in like the game, a post-nuclear Fallout world where you go up to the surface and everything's a disaster. But it takes place in Washington, D.C., so there's a lot of like Americana from not just the setting and environment, but like the Fallout, and I keep using that word, and I'm not trying to do a bit, but
it's aptly named.
Sort of like they do a really great job of like, if this, then what, work to for ideas of like, how would the world be affected here?
Well, maybe they took improv.
They simply must have.
If this is true, what else is true?
Yes. So Fallout 3, that's your second recommendation.
Great.
And now for your final recommendation is, if you are actually bothered by the original title, you're like, enough with this mother, I'm sick of it, let's focus on the daddies a little bit. I'll recommend a game for you called Dream Daddy, the Daddy Dating Simulator. Are you familiar with this title?
No.
Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. You play as a character who meets a bunch of different daddies in your town, and you can date them.
Okay. Great. I used to love dating simulators.
Oh, I mean, I've heard this game is phenomenal, so it actually might be worth checking out, even though it's the joke one I did. And again, just to recap, we have Moon Remix RPG Adventure, Fallout 3, and Dream Daddy, the Daddy Dating Simulator. That'll do it for the game recommendations, and that'll bring us to the end of the podcast. So before we go, Laney, thanks again for coming on. This is so much fun talking to you today.
Thank you for having me. I really loved it. I had more experience than I knew, or like, I had a lot of memories come up.
Yeah, look at that. On your way out, I know we plugged some stuff up top, but what would you like to plug here again at the end for people to find?
Just you can take classes or come to shows at Ouija's, the world's greatest improv school. And you can come to Play by Play at UCB every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. or you can watch it on live stream. We have lots of rotating guests on the show, including Connor is a frequent flyer at Play by Play. I think that's really it.
Cool.
Just I do so much improv, and you can see it all at my Instagram.
Awesome. It's all great. And yeah, Play by Play, one of the most fun shows, especially for, I think anybody would like it, but those sports fans out there who we really had just like loving the beginning of this podcast, the commentating sports element of it truly makes it such a blast. So
yeah.
Great. I'll put links to all that stuff in the show notes, as well as all the things that I'm about to plug right now. The cover art for Call Me By Your Game is done by Glenn J. You can find him and his other great work on Instagram, which will be in a link in the show notes. This show is produced, edited, and the original music that you hear throughout is done by Jeremy Schmidt. If you want to thank him for his work on this podcast, you can go listen to his podcast, Video Games, a comedy show, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow Call Me By Your Game on Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube if you want a video version of the show every single week. You can also follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram as well. And then lastly is, if you're still here and you can't get enough of this podcast and you're just like, I need more bonus video game podcasts, like I plugged up top, check us out on Patreon. We're over at patreon.com/supernpcradio, and we have a bunch of bonus video game podcasts at our different tiers for however much you want to support us. There's even a free tier if you want to hop in and just get access to our Discord to talk to people about, let me look down the channels I have here. Oh, one of my favorite channels, We Like Sports. We, of course, spelled like the Wii, the console. We have Movies and TVs, another great channel, and music, video game tunes. If you join at any tier, you'll get access to the Discord and other bonus stuff the higher you go. But again, that'll do it for another episode of Call Me By Your Game. We will see you on the next one.